So how does the Autel EVO 2 compare with the DJI MAVIC 2? You're going to find out in today's video because I'm going to compare the DJI MAVIC 2 with the Autel EVO 2 with its 3 different cameras in the video coming up. Alright, before we get into all the details, I know many of you are probably wondering about whether DJI is going to come out with the MAVIC 3. I would say yes. I made a video about it up here, but as of this video right now, we only have the MAVIC 2 Pro and the MAVIC 2 Zoom. And even if DJI releases the MAVIC 3 tomorrow, the EVO 2 is definitely one of the top 2 consumer foldable drones in the market. So just so you know, I'll do another comparison of the EVO 2 versus the MAVIC 3 when it's released. So if you want to see that video or step up your drone skills, hit that subscribe button, tap that bell notification so you can get all my videos when I release them. So there are 3 different Autel EVO 2 drones, but they all have the same body. The only thing different are the cameras, and best of all, they are interchangeable. So you can buy each camera by itself and swap it out, which is great for consumers, professionals, and enterprise solutions, such as inspections and search and rescue, and many more uses. So when I mention the different EVO 2 drones, I'm essentially just talking about the camera and not the drone body. The EVO 2 drones are the EVO 2, the EVO 2 Pro, and the EVO 2 Dual. Before I get into the details about all 3 drones and compare them with the MAVIC 2, I'll go over the specs that they all share. So they will all fly for up to 40 minutes, which in reality will be about 35 minutes. They have the ability to shoot native 10-bit 8K and 6K video with a processor able to handle those big resolutions. The EVO 2 has 12 obstacle avoiding sensors, which makes it similar to the first Skydio drone, the Skydio R1. They call it omnidirectional, which basically is true 360 obstacle avoidance, where the MAVIC 2 has some blind spots that don't make a true 360 degrees. Also, the obstacle avoiding sensors on the left side and the right side of the MAVIC 2 only work in active track and quick shot modes. So the EVO 2 will be better at avoiding obstacles as it always uses all of its sensors, even with its active track, which Autel calls Dynamic Track 2.0. Out of the box, the EVO 2 has less contrast than the MAVIC 2, but in the app you can adjust that, of course, or in post-production. However, because the EVO 2 shoots 8K and the EVO 2 Pro shoots 6K, you can crop into the shot and it will still have good resolution. This is perhaps its biggest advantage over the MAVIC 2 Pro and the MAVIC 2 Zoom. Now, one important thing to be aware of is that there is no geofencing with the EVO 2. It will warn you of proximity to a flight restricted zone and other no-fly zone or limited flight areas, but will not prevent you from flying there. As of this video, there are very few countries, such as China, that require geofencing. Also, some of you might be worried about using this drone with the new remote ID rules proposed here in the United States, but Autel said it would adapt to any new regulations by the United States FAA. But that's all for another video. Overall, I would give a significant edge to the EVO 2 over the MAVIC 2 because of its longer flight time, better obstacle avoidance, and better image quality for video and photos. Now let's get into the side-by-side details. So let's start with the EVO 2, which I will compare with the MAVIC 2 Zoom because it has similar size sensor. Now the EVO 2 has an impressive 48 megapixel half-inch camera sensor that shoots up to 8K video at 24 and 25 frames per second. Obviously that's some amazing resolution, but let's take a closer look. A significant advantage the EVO 2 has over the other drones is that it uses f1.8 aperture, letting in more light for low light situations and allowing the use of a lower ISO than the MAVIC 2 Zoom, which will equate to lower noise. However, it still uses a half-inch sensor and you're not able to adjust the aperture like the EVO 2 Pro or the MAVIC 2 Pro. But when comparing it with the MAVIC 2 Zoom, the EVO 2 is better considering the MAVIC 2 Zoom starts at f2.8 at 24 millimeters and goes up to f3.8 at 48 millimeters. So the MAVIC 2 Zoom won't be able to let in as much light as the EVO 2. So if you're shooting in low light, the EVO 2 may be better. However, you also have to consider that the EVO 2 has 48 megapixels, and the more megapixels you have on a camera sensor, the worse it is in low light. Now, just to be clear, I'm talking about video, not photography. And since the Mavic 2 zoom only has 12 megapixels, it very well could be better than the EVO 2 in low light. You have to take all that into consideration as the lens and the sensor work together along with the processor. If that all sounds too confusing, just leave a question below and I'll do my best to answer it. One thing I do like about the Mavic 2 zoom, which isn't available in the Mavic 2 Pro, is the ability to shoot in D-Cine-like mode, which looks great on the zoom in my DJI Phantom 4 Pro. So I'd give the Mavic 2 zoom a slightly more cinematic look right out of the box when using the D-Cine-like mode. But the EVO 2 can shoot 10-bit natively, and it shoots 8K and 2.7K at 120 frames per second. So overall, the image quality goes to the EVO 2. Now let's move on to the EVO 2 Pro, which has a 1-inch sensor and adjustable aperture from f2.8 to f11. So compared to the EVO 2, the EVO 2 Pro is going to have better image quality, better color, more dynamic range, better in low light, and you're going to be able to control the depth of field. Now let's take a closer look at the EVO 2 Pro versus the Mavic 2 Pro. They both have the same size camera sensor, which is 1 inch with 20 megapixels. However, the EVO 2 Pro shoots 6K up to 30 frames per second, 4K up to 60 frames per second, and 2.7K up to 120 frames per second. So for video, the edge goes to the EVO 2 Pro. For photography, they're going to be very similar as they both shoot 20 megapixels with the same adjustable aperture from f2.8 to f11. If you prefer more contrast in your photos with darker shadows, you're going to prefer the Mavic 2 Pro, whereas the EVO 2 Pro has much less contrast right out of the box. With that said, you could adjust the contrast in the app or in post-production. They both have auto exposure bracketing and full manual controls, so when it comes to photography, it's basically a tie. Now the EVO 2 Dual is going to use the same 8K camera as the first EVO 2, along with a FLIR Boson thermal camera, which is a 640 by 512 thermal camera with a refresh rate up to 30 Hertz. This means the EVO 2 Dual is going to give you much better image quality than the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual for photos and video, but especially for thermal imaging. The Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual does have a great app that gives a lot of features, so we'll have to wait and see what Autel does. For now, we do know a few things. With the EVO 2 Dual, you can record with one or the other or both cameras at the same time. If you use both simultaneously, you'll only be able to shoot 4K. However, the micro SD card will have 3 files with one for each camera and one with both of them together, which is a great feature for post-production. The thermal camera also allows you to use 10 different color profiles for different environments. With the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual, you only have 5 color profiles. This is great for inspections of telephone wires, warehouses, and oil pipelines. It will also be good for firefighters, police, first responders, search and rescue and surveillance, as well as many other uses. One thing to note is that the EVO 2 Dual thermal camera is not radiometric. But I reached out to Autel and they told me, in quotes, the EVO 2 Dual will not be radiometric at the time of launch. We are currently evaluating offering a radiometric option in the future. So radiometric thermal cameras give you more options in post-production, but they are very, very expensive, so keep that in mind. In the past, you needed to have permission to bring a FLIR camera greater than 9 Hertz outside of the USA because they considered it military-grade equipment. However, I'm not sure if that's still true. If it is, this may mean you can only use the EVO 2 Dual in the USA without government permission. I reached out to Autel, but they couldn't give me an answer to this situation. So if you know, leave a comment below. Now I'm going to give you some of my final thoughts. One feature I didn't mention, which a lot of people will like, is the EVO 2 controller. It's like the original EVO controller with the app and screen built into the controller, so you don't need to use a separate device like your phone or iPad. However, you can use a cable in your phone with the built-in holder if that's what you prefer. There's also the possibility of a bigger screen sold by Autel, but no info on it as of this video. Now here are some things I'm a little disappointed about the EVO 2. It only has 8 gigabytes of internal storage just like the Mavic 2. I would have liked to see 32 gigabytes or higher, especially when shooting 6K or 8K. 8 gigabytes is going to be used up very quickly. However, I do like the fact that it allows up to a 256 gigabyte micro SD card, which is double the size of the Mavic 2 limit, since I can only use up to 128 gigabytes on my Mavic 2 Pro. But it's worth considering that my Mavic 2 Pro only shoots up to 4K, so 128 gigabytes is still a lot of space. Kind of weird saying only up to 4K. Anyhow, the EVO 2 has 2 LED lights on the bottom of the drone, but I would have liked to see more and possibly one built in on top that can be used at night. Personally, I would have rather seen a bigger sensor that shoots 4K, such as a Super 35 sensor, even if that meant it costs much more, as that would make it not only compete with the Mavic 2 Pro, but also the Inspire 2. I know a lot of people like bigger resolution and higher megapixels, but I found that a bigger sensor will usually provide better image quality. Now, another thing I was a little disappointed about, I wish the EVO 2 was smaller, but it's understandable considering it needed a bigger, more powerful battery for longer flight time, along with enough space to process that 6K and 8K camera without overheating. So it'd be nice if it were a little smaller, but having a foldable 8K and 6K drone is something I'm super pumped up about. The 8K EVO 2 is supposed to be released before the end of January, but Autel would not confirm that with me. Then we would likely see the EVO 2 Pro with a 1-inch sensor sometime in March. I have no release date for the EVO 2 dual drone, as I imagine it would take a little longer, as is normal with thermal cameras from FLIR. But I imagine it will also be significantly later. As of this video, there's no word on the price of the dual, but I imagine it's going to be quite expensive compared to the other EVO 2 drones, as good thermal cameras cost thousands and thousands of dollars. The amazing thing that Autel has done with the EVO 2, which I've been saying for years, is the fact that you can buy the camera gimbal alone by itself and swap the 8K version for the 6K camera with the bigger sensor. So being able to buy any of the 3 camera gimbals by themselves is great because you can have one drone and multiple cameras, thus saving you a lot of space in your camera drone bag. Autel hasn't released the official prices for each drone, but the EVO 2 should cost around $1,445 to $1,495 in that range. And the EVO 2 Pro should cost around $1,795 to $1,895. I know that was a lot of info. Now, when I got started learning about drones, it was a little overwhelming with all the gear and flying them properly. It took me a long time to hone my skills and have a comprehensive grasp of all the equipment. That's why I created my free drone gear guide that organizes everything in a clear, concise manner. You can get that free drone gear guide by clicking over there. I'm Brick Aramella, the Drone Pilot Pro, and remember, siempre pa'lante, nunca para atrás.